Hello everyone, I'm Silver, also known as Silver Luna 2112 on Ravelry. It is Wednesday, October 4th. Wow, where the heck did September go? I hope you had a great couple of weeks. I've actually been pretty busy, which you'll see in a bit. I wanted to say a hiya to all new viewers. Thank you for coming by and giving me a shot. A great welcome back to returning viewers. I really do appreciate you all coming by again. I actually, before I get started, I wanted to have a quick moment of silence for the events in Edmonton and in Las Vegas over the past week. All right, thank you for that. There's actually been a lot I've been up to over the past few weeks, so let's go started. So grab your knitting, your drink of choice, and let's get started. So today I'm still fighting a bit of a head cold and have been all week. So if I have to take a few take frequent breaks, I hope you'll understand. I'll try to edit all of that out so you know. But yeah, so today I am drinking a generic pumpkin spice latte Kit cup that MTI found that we both really like, as well as some water later on in the episode because head cold. Duh. Anyway, take a quick drink here. Mm. So, a quick note before I jump into my knitting. I wanted to step up on my soapbox for a bit. I want to address something that I'm sure you've already heard about, especially if you listen to a lot of podcasts, especially over the past week. If not, I'll actually be including a clip of this over, at the end of the credits, and maybe even as well as a clip of the Grocery Girl's response to this. If you haven't heard, um, there was how do I explain this? I have to say, I was completely outraged at the fact that one of the Yarn Hoarder's viewers took it upon themselves to make some comments about her newest crafting obsession. The comments were mean-spirited and completely unnecessary. When you cross the line and are mean to someone for daring to try something new, then you can't be friends with me. Sorry, not sorry. So, who are you to judge someone on what craft they do, what tools someone wants to use to do that craft? Why are there judgments about what material one may use or must use in their projects? It's not cool. To all those out there that have felt ashamed for what you work with, what craft you do, and the number of whips you have on the needles, I have to say, so what? Don't be afraid to just be you. Do what you want. It's your craft parade, as the Grocery Girls have said. Don't let anyone rain on it. You hear me? Don't let anyone rain on it. Be you. Don't afraid to be you. Now, I won't repeat the comments because I didn't see them for myself, but I know that the yarn hoarder was very, very upset by these comments. No one should be made to feel small for for what kind of progress that they make or even for what materials they use. Just don't do it. The more you know. Okay, for my sake, I want to actually hold myself accountable for the large number of whips that I have, if only for my peace of mind. I've actually started to get really antsy with the large number of whips that I have going on. With that in mind, I did create what I am calling the Whip Down 2017.
All right, let's talk Whip Down 2017. If you haven't heard, we did start this KAL August 1st, and we are going up until about December 31st at about midnight, but more than likely, hint, I probably won't close the thread until the morning. too late partying or something like that. Anyway, the details of this is you must be a member of the Silver's Dreamland podcast group on Ravelry. You must also post FO pictures in the FO thread, one post per project. Just a gentle reminder, hats, washcloths, and smaller items may be counted. However, 4 of each of those will be one entry. Poly dipping is allowed as long as it pertains to that particular rules and stuff like that. um, just remember, any project finished after the beginning of August will count. Any Ravelry account will also count as well, so you know. Single songs do count. One post for the first, and then you would update that post for the pair if you do happen to finish it later. Just please. Please also use hashtag SDLWhipDown2017 on all social medias so that I know that you're playing along. So for this KL, I do have 3 prizes set up and a few that are going to be coming in soon, I hope-ish. The first is going to be a copy of Chris Loves Wool Slip and Swirl Socks pattern, donated by Chris Loves Wool directly herself. I'm going to be posting that into the episode thread as well as into the bottom here. The second thing up is a wonderful bag by Silver Shed USA. Oh, love this bag, guys. Look at that. Oh, and her business card. Genius. That was actually donated by Jane Itma of the Socket Adopt. Thank you. This is pretty awesome prize. The second bag that is up is a tea bag by Molly Klein Designs. Oh my gosh, so cute, guys. Alright, so you know the rest of the prizes will be announced as soon as they come in. If you would like to donate a prize, please let me know via PM on Ravelry, or you can email me directly at silversdreamlandpodcast@gmail.com. Alright, let's talk Java along. So the details for this one is it is a year-long KAL, or along, that I am actually hosting to honor the wonderful genius that is Java Pearl Designs. If you've ever knit one of Stacey or Danny's designs, please feel free to include it in the FO threads. You can enter anything that reminds you of either one of them. Even if your project name is a reference to something that they've said on their podcast, Geeky Girls Knit Podcast, it will count. Essentially, any project that you knit, crochet, weave, or spin that has anything to do with or is inspired by the Geeky Girls Podcast, Java Pearl, or Danny's Doodles, or is even one of Java Pearl's designs on Ravelry, it will not be hard to convince me that you deserve to have an FO in this thread. Just trust me on that. Works in progress are allowed as long as they've actually been finished in the year 2017. Please feel free to polydip in any other along or KALs as long as it fits in with the other alongs rules. Each project you finish and post counts as one entry to the giveaway. You must be a member of the Silver's Dreamland podcast group on Ravelry to participate. Please post any photos on social media using the hashtag SDLJavaAlong so that I can find your whips and FOs. Who knows, you may actually be entered into a drawing for random active patterning days, guys. I love those dates. So for prizes, as promised, I will actually be giving away a digital copy of Coffee with CC book. Since I have not gotten any responses to my prompts, I decided to wait until I finish all the patterns included in the book, so please make sure you post soon to win. Hint, the last one that I have up is pumpkins, and since it is October, and a lot of alongs are doing pumpkins themes, this is probably going to be your last chance, so you know. I will also be giving away a physical copy of Cece's new book, Coffee with Cece, and Dammy too. Probably at the end of the year at this point, because quite frankly, I really want to give you guys the best chance possible. The winners will actually be pulled from the FO thread only, so again, please make sure to get your FOs in the thread. We do have 2 more wonderful prizes donated by Nimrus on Ravelry. If you don't know who she is the wonderful genius behind Sandia's Jewels. She has generously donated a skein of her hand-dyed yarn on her snug base. It is called the Highlands colorway, as well as a wonderful set of Harley Quinn Stitch markers. Wow, tongue twister for me to give away during the course of the Java along. I also have a wonderful coffee themed bag by Molly Klein Designs. So, if you have any crafty items that you would like to donate as prizes, please PM me on Ravelry as SilverLuna2112, or you can email me directly at silversdreamlandpodcast@gmail.com.
Okay, September's winner. There were no FOs since the last episode, so I let random number generator do its thing with the members of our group. So, congratulations must go to Pure Peace for You, spelled Pure, P as in Peter, EACE, the number 4, the letter U. So, Peace for You. Please PM me on Ravelry with your favorite Java Pearl design, and I'll send it right over. So, a gentle reminder, August's winner has still not reached out to me, so if you haven't seen the last couple of episodes, please make sure you do. Please reach out to me at the time I record next time, which is going to be in November, or I am going to redraw the winner. I will also be magic linking you on this week's episode thread as well, so in case you happen to miss that.
All right, let's talk alongs that I am not hosting. The first one is called the 13th Month of Magic Cow. This is a cow that is being hosted by Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick podcast. Here are going to be the rules and guidelines. There are quite a few, so I do apologize, but she does break it down a lot better than I do. I'm just going to read them kind of almost word for word or paraphrase. This KL runs from January 1st, 2017 through January 31st, 2018, which is a full 13 months if you weren't playing the home game. She has called this KAL for simplicity's sake, but please note that all Ravelry approved crafts are welcome. This does include knitting, crocheting, weaving, and spinning. You must craft 13 complete objects in this cow in order to be eligible for prize consideration. These 13 objects can be any type of object or any combination of objects that you choose. You will have one post in the FO thread for all 13 of your objects. Simply update the post with each new FO as we go throughout the year. She does give you an example of how it should look, so pay attention to that. It is one post per 13 objects. If you happen to finish 13 objects and have the time and would like to craft another 13, you are more than welcome to start a new post and do a second set of 13 projects for the KAL. If you do complete 2 sets, you will be entered in the prize drawing twice. No works in progress for this one. Only projects cast on and completed during the KAL timeline are eligible for prize consideration. In order for your project to be eligible for prize consideration, it must have something to do with magic, witches, etc. Anything Harry Potter is eligible, but you are not limited to Harry Potter. Any fandom or item that contains or relates to magic, witches, etc. works. Your project can be an item directly inspired from your chosen magical fandom, or it can be a pattern or a yarn that is directly tied to magic in some way. If it is not immediately apparent how your project is tied to magic, please include a brief explanation in your FO post. Polydipping is okay. Please feel free to polydip in and knit alongs from other projects or RAV groups and other KALs going on within the group. Example, the Weasley cow that Meg and Jilly are hosting in January and February would be a good place to double dip, which has already happened. Sorry, guys. This is the chatter thread. Please feel free to discuss project plans, look for project ideas, share yarn choices, talk about your magical fandom, etc. As always, the amazing VFB has put together a wonderful pattern bundle for this KL. If you are looking for ideas, it can actually be found in the show notes, so you can find it. You must be a member of the Knitting Broomstick podcast. They're on Ravelry to be eligible to win prizes. Prize winners have 30 days to claim their prize, or it is forfeit, aka she will award it to someone else, or use it as a prize in another knit along. As to submitting small items, Jilly has had many questions about whether or not small items are acceptable submissions for this cow. The answer is yes. Bookmarks, hexie puffs, blanket squares, dishcloths, etc. are absolutely fine to submit as one or many of your 13 FOs. If you end up needing to submit more than one set of 13 FOs, you may do so in a new post. She does reserve the right to change this if this becomes problematic in the future, but she doesn't foresee that. Um, she does understand that everyone she wants everyone to have fun with this KAL, and that everyone does have real life obligations that can limit your crafting time. So sometimes those smaller items can just help us fill up a set of 13 so that everyone has a chance at winning a prize. I'll also be participating in the Zombie Friendship KAL. This is actually being hosted by the Stockinit Zombies. Just a few rules that they have. The items must be cast on after August 1st. The items must use at least 75 grams and about 150 yards of yarn. The last rule, you've got to post a picture of your finished objects in the FO thread with a link or ear burn to your knitting friends on Ravelry and how they are connected to the project before or on October 31st to be entered. I do have one that I'm doing for this one. I won't tell you here. I'll have to show you later on in the episode. Another fun along that I am participating in is the Pumpkin Spice Now or Make Along. So basically, here is where you get your pumpkin expired knitting projects ready. It is time actually for the second annual Pumpkin Mal. Host Gabby of Once Upon a Corgi and Opera Joe of the Stitching the High Notes podcast are both obsessed with all things pumpkin. So of course they decided to make a joint make along that is definitely in order. They are thrilled to be joining forces and co-host this now. All right, so there are quite a few details. I'm going to read them out. Both these rules sets can be found in both Opera Joe's thread as well as uh, Gabby's thread. Sorry. Anyway, the dates on this are anywhere from September 15th to November 23rd, which is USA's Thanksgiving. You must crochet, knit, weave, or spin something pumpkin related or has pumpkin themed yarn. Works in progress are allowed. The projects must be in their early stages, meaning that you don't just have a little bit to do before winding off. There is a chatter thread in both the Stitching the High Notes group and the Once Upon a Corgi group. You must post your FO or finished objects in the FO thread to be eligible for a prize. So be sure to post in both Stitching the High Notes and in Once Upon a Corgi groups to double your chances. You must be a member of both groups to be eligible for prizes, so you know. Poly dipping in other make-alongs is highly encouraged. The hashtag for this one is going to be hashtag pumpkin make along or MAL. I'll put that down below. I'm going to be also participating in the Tin Can Knits Along. So many of the Grocery Girls viewers were already ready and raring to go when we mentioned that they were starting a new knit along. This time they are featuring the amazing Canadian dynamic duo design team that is also known as Tin Can Knits. Absolutely love their patterns, guys. So the pattern selection includes pretty much anything your heart desires, from sweaters, cowls, blankets, hats, mittens, ornaments. The list just goes on and on, yo. So just make sure you take some time to check out their extensive pattern library. And yes, there are some patterns that are free. And just choose a few items to get your holiday knitting underway. Now, here are the details of the knit along. It does run from September 1st to January 1st of 2018. Enter as many items as you like. Works in progress less than 50% knit on September 1st are eligible. You must be a Ravelry group member to qualify for prizes. And yes, the Grocery Girls have lots of prizes. Trust me, you want to participate. There's so much, and there's something for everyone in the Tin Can Knits group. Trust me. I'm also participating in the group, the Knit Girls Halloween Cat, or Craft All the Things, or as Lala said last week, Halloween. Anyway, the guidelines on this one, the project must be started before or after September 15th to count. Just finish that craft. Any fall relating craft will do. Post a picture of the finished craft in the FO thread. in their threads and sell it to the knit girls as to why it's fall or Halloween related. That's all you gotta do. One post for FO, but groups of things count once. Example, a tray of baked pumpkin seeds counts as one FO together, not one entry per pumpkin seed, so you know. Um, the craft of the things will end on November 1st, so you know. So, and the last rule, have fun, as always. So the last one that I'm participating in is called the October Sock Sack. Sorry, is the October Sock Bash. Yes, it's October. That means a whole new month to knit for the Grocery Girls Sock Bash year long KL. Here are the basic rules. You must start and finish your socks in October. They must be adult socks that include a leg, no shorties or rollers, please. You may enter as many times as you like. Please feel free to double dip in any other knit alongs that allows it. A bonus theme for them for October. They do love to give you a chance to enter each month to enter your single pair of socks twice. For October, they have chosen two different themes, a Halloween pattern or yarn name, and the second one is in pink yarn in honor to honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you are knitting, maybe to honor a friend or family member, or maybe even yourself, they would like to know. And if you want to talk about that, go ahead. Um, we all know somebody in their lives that's been affected by this terrible disease, and this is the month especially to support and donate to the cause. So essentially, the grocery girls just want to share the love as much as they possibly can through socks, which I approve this message, y'all.
So let's talk about my favorite things. All right, so the first thing I'm going to mention is that there is a meeting on October the 7th at 1 p.m. in Elizabeth Park here in Connecticut. I'm going to be going there with some Ravelry badges and the members of the Knitters Guild podcast. I'm going to link to their podcast in the description below, as well, sorry, as well as on my podcast notes. If you didn't know, I currently have red hair that kind of makes me look like I could, belong in a leaf pile. Um, so come on by with your knitting, crocheting, or other crafts, some snacks to share, and a chair to sit on if you want to as well. I cannot wait to meet you all. Come on by. The second thing that I really love this week, and by thing, I mean quite a few things, I'm going to categorize it as what came in the mail over the past couple weeks, which was quite a bit. So for the first thing that came in was my Wink shipment, which is a monthly wine shipment that comes in the mail. Not available in all areas. There are some locations where you cannot ship to. With that in mind, we did receive four different types of wine, MDINI. The first is a red wine called Restless Earth Petite Syrah. Have not tried it yet. I'll get there. The second one is called a Diviner Sauvignon Blanc. The third one is the Funk Zone White Blend. And then we also had a Pacifica Chardonnay. All right, so this last one is already gone. I have to be completely honest. I felt a buzz after two sips. It was very bitter and not really my favorite. But then again, I drank more than half the bottle by myself, so yeah. Oh, and if you were wondering, empty, I liked it too. Probably more than the second one I'm going to mention. The We actually also tried the Funk Zone White Blend. Um, yeah, this is the second one we've tried. It's very sweet at first, and then you get a bit of a bite to it, which made it interesting. So it's kind of like an after bite, I guess is how I described it to MDI. Yeah, he's wine is wine to him. I kind of enjoy it a little bit more than I probably should, right? No judgments, right? Judgment free zone today, or in general. Anyway, the next thing that showed up in the mail was the knitting broomstick shipment. This had my Hamilton bag with the Progress Keeper tag that she puts on all of her wonderful bags. Oh, and she had a pumpkin spice tea that was with it, as well as a cute little mini skein. Oh my goodness, guys. I love the way she packages her bags. If anything else, you guys should go check her out on Etsy. I will link her shop. Yeah, actually, even down below and in the show notes as well. That's gonna be a little bit different this week. I'm going to do that for every one of the shops. The next thing that came in the mail is the thinkgeek.com shipment. I received my exploding TARDIS mug that I've been looking forward to, as well as a Star Trek color changing mug, a another changing mug that looks like a Game Boy, ugh, and then the Zelda color changing mug. I love those three guys. I also received, actually, I bought this one. It was a Zelda puzzle. Ooh, love it. And a Bell Pop figurine. Wow, words. Sorry. The next thing that came in the mail, this is actually going to be, I'm going to put up a spoiler alert here. So I received the Geeky Girls 5-year Podiversary kit. If you ordered one, please look away for a little while. I'll put timestamps down below. You gone? Okay. All right. I did get the pattern that came with the kit, which was the Geeky Girls Knit 5th Podiversary socks. Dammy's Doodles and Java Pearl, you guys, I cannot wait for your pattern to go live. It's so super genius. Let me tell you. Um, they also included in the shipment a yarn, a bag, and some uh, little minis there. All right, so you'll love this. There's the All About You Sparkle Owl. GGK turns 5 is the colorway name. Oh, it's pinks and purples, and it is so the Geeky Girls podcast. I also received a wonderful pink and black canvas bag with their logo on it. Absolutely super adorbs. Also in the bag, there was a stitch marker that looks like a cupcake that has GGK on it. Oh, so super cute. And the last thing that arrived in the bag was some coffee themed candies, which MDI had one and the rest of them are completely gone. So they're kind of good. Had the last of them this morning actually. The last shipment that came in was also a spoiler alert. I did receive my second club shipment of the Yarn Truck Yarn Club. So if you are a member and you have not received yours yet, again, look away. I will put the timestamp below. You gone? One last chance. Okay. So the yarn that arrived in this package was from Apple Tree Knits in the Sock Love fingering base that she has, which is 80% BFL, Blueface Luster, and 20% nylon in the Buffy colorway. Yes, this month was Buffy the Vampire Slayer themed, y'all. Anyway, so to go, what would you send me if it was a Buffy theme, right? You got to think about that one for a second. The tool that was in there is actually a tube with very sharp, dare I say, stick sharp tapestry needles in them. I cannot wait to use them, guys. I don't even want to take them out of the tube. They're so super cute. I got a picture of the tube, but not the tapestry needles. Maybe I should get on that, right? There were two patterns this time around. One was a knit pattern, which was the Sunnydale Cowl by Katie Carroll. Super cute, guys. Sorry. And the second was a crochet pattern, which is called the Carnival Shawl by Linda Perrin. Again, super cute. Makes me wish I crochet, to be honest. These patterns that they've sent so far. Anyway, the other extras that arrived in the package were had a tea in there by Tea, sorry, called Slayer's Blood Orange. And then the other thing that arrived, the thing that I had to hide from Empty Eye so he didn't read it a million times like he does was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic book, yo. What? I didn't even know that was a thing. And I mean, to be fair, I watched maybe about a season of Buffy, but that was when it was on Netflix. Don't hate me, but I still like a series. All right, let's move on to FOs, y'all. I finished two objects over the past couple weeks. I'm kind of proud of them, not gonna lie. Um, the first one I finished the Blue-Eyed Bay. I won't tell you who it's from because they do listen to the podcast. The pattern I used on this one was the CC's Vanilla Cappuccino Socks by CC Almond. I used a Knit Pick Stroll Tonal in the Pacific colorway, as well as a US 2 9-inch circular needles on that one, including for the heels and the cuffs. So that's why I'm super proud of that one. I have never done, well, not never, but close to never done heel on the 9-inch without a problem. So yay me. The second one I finished was also a CC Almond pattern I called BBS, short for Beastly Broad Society. I won't tell you who it's from. Maybe that gives a hint. I don't know. Anyway, the pattern I used was the Where You Lead, I Will Follow socks, like I said, by CC Almond. I used a No Maker's House Gnome in the Beast colorway, hence why part of the name. And I also used a size US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter to 16-inch circular method on that one, because patterning in the 9-inch, not so great for me. But I'm getting there, I promise. Yo, yo, yo. I have a couple of hoes, yo. Um, the first one, I have the first sock done on it, but I haven't quite been in a headspace to start the cuff of the second, mostly because I'm using DPNs for most of that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm calling this MZ for MZ, and that was um, the number 4 in the middle of that if you're looking at my project pages. Anyway, the pattern I'm using on that one is the Mercury Socks by Kim Drotter. I think is how you pronounce her name. I am so sorry. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. The yarn I'm using on that is the Nerd Girl Yarns Bounce and Stomp in the Zelda colorway. I'm also using a US 2 2.75 millimeter. Like I said, I'm using my Carbon DPNs, the 8-inch ones. Um, And this one's actually being housed in my Zelda bag by Slip Stitch Studios. Oh my god, guys, I love the bag too. Cause who? Cause as you do, you have to have a theme, right? So yes, the other thing that I finished the first sock and a little bit of the toe. I literally have not even finished the toe increases on that yet, but I wanted to say I have the toe started on this one. This is called Vanilla Beans. You'll see why in a bit. Um, I did use the CC's Vanilla Cappuccino Sock by CC Almond, using another No Maker's Fancy Gnome base this time in the Birdie Bots colorway. Yes, jelly bean. There you go. I see the dots connecting. No kidding. I don't mean to offend you. Anyway, I am using a size US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter 9-inch circulars on that one. And this is actually being housed in my Jack Skellington Nightmare Before Christmas bag. Guys, I love this bag too. I love all of the Halloween bags, but this one's probably my favorite for now. All right, works in progress. I do have a couple of new works in progress, y'all. The first one is I'm calling Pumpkin Pie Deliciousness. Yeah. I am just past the toe, I think about an inch, if that. I cast this on October 1st for the October Sock Bash that I mentioned before that was being hosted by the Grocery Girls. The pattern I'm using on this one is the CC's Vanilla Cappuccino Socks by CC Almond. I am using a Desert Vista Dye Works colorway in the Viso base called Pumpkin Pie. Oh, I love this color, guys. It's a 3-stripe repeat. Love it. It's like one more color, guys. One more color. I'm gonna get in that mentality soon. I'll bet you anything. On this one, I am using a size US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter 9-inch circular. And this one's actually being hosted now in the Nightmare Before Christmas bag by Stitch Studios. I have so many. I have so many bags, but this Nightmare Before Christmas bag, probably my first Halloween bag that I ordered. So, yay. So the next thing that I do have that's new on the needles, I'm calling Melly, spelled Mellin, pink. So I just have to do up the armholes in this sweater. It's a dog sweater for somebody for the holidays. Anyway, um, but to be able to finish this sweater, I do need US 10.5 DPNs, and I don't know where they went to. So I'm kind of stalled on this one for a bit. So the pattern on this one was called Dog Sweater by the Red Heart design team. I have to say, yes, it's a free pattern, but there are a lot of numbers mistakes on this one that I found, so that kind of made me frustrated too. But I figured it out, so there's that. Can't see, but I'm sticking out my tongue at the design team for that. Anyway, I'm using a Red Heart Super Saver color called Pretty in Pink. I love it, guys. Like I mentioned, I am using a size US 10.5, which is a 6.5 millimeter needles. It is actually being housed in my new pumpkin spice latte bag from the Knitting Broomstick because it fits in there. It's bigger than it sounds, but yeah, I made one of the smaller sizes because it's a small dog I'm making it for. Duh. Anyway, um, I do have a few other things that I worked on this week besides the new ones. The first one I'm going to mention is what I'm calling a sweater love lesson 3. So I'm on to the first sleeve. I got there and I kind of stalled out on that one too. Mostly because, small needles, large object, it's kind of fiddly for me, especially since it is my first sweater. So I wanted to take my time and not rush through it and kind of figure out what works as a better rhythm for me. But yeah, ever since I put it away, I'm like, maybe I should bring that back out soon because sweater weather. Anyway, this pattern that I'm using is the Flax by Tin Can Knits, and I'm actually knitting this for the Tin Can Knits along, so I do have some time. The yarn I'm using on this one was, so far I'm on the second skein of Miss Babs Yowza in the Morticia colorway, using a size US 6, which is a 4.0 millimeter, and a US 8, which is a 5.0 millimeter. They're Both of these needles are Knitter's Pride Marbles needles. I'm currently on a size US 8, which is on the 16-inch cable needle there on the sleeves. And this is being housed, sorry, in my purple TARDIS bag. Oh my gosh, guys, I love it. So, the next thing that I have been putting a little bit of love on this time around was what I was calling the flat orchid wrap. I've gotten to 32 pattern rotations of this pattern, and I am about 32, no, not 32, maybe like 30, 30 and a half inches, I think, is what I'm up to, and I still got a little ways to go, but I'm still in love with this pattern, you guys. The pattern that I'm using is the Flat White Wrap by CC Almond. I'm probably going to end up using 3 skeins of the Miss Babs Carolyn base in the colorway Orchid. It's absolutely gorgeous, guys. I'm using a size US 3, which is a 3.5 millimeter, 40-inch Haya Sharps needles. And this is actually being housed in my coffee cup bag by Molly Klein Designs, which is a complete lie because I moved it over the other day to my blue TARDIS bag that I absolutely love, guys. I should change that in my show notes. What do you think? Whoops. Yeah, I should change that over in my notes, huh? So, what you're reading or listening to, Silver? Well, a little bit of everything. I did finish. good 10 books or so this time around. Only four I'm going to mention. The other five books I rated under 3 stars on Goodreads, and I won't mention them here, but if you'd like to see them, they'll be found there. And I'll show you the link in the podcast notes as well as the down bar below. So anyway, I did finish a series by Violet Duke. First one called Resisting the Bad Boy. The second one was called Falling for the Good Guy. And the third one was Choosing the Right Man. And then the last one was Finding the Right Girl. So yeah, there's that series. I am currently listening to Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I'm gonna start off by saying that I really like this book as a romance. When it comes to the patriarchal comments, I kind of get pissed off. Um, here's one I actually mentioned in a quick review on Goodreads that I was kind of, as I was reading, I kind of mentioned it. So I'm gonna read it word for word. You ready? So, is anyone else as upset by the fucking patriarchal comments made by the priest and those statements made by the crowd at the witch, quote unquote, witch trials thro- that Claire experiences at this point of the book, which I was about 70% of the book, if you're wondering? I had thrown down my Kindle in disgust. Fucking redunculous. She wants to help you, you ass. She wants to help heal you. That's what she does. Anyway, I wrote after that. I need some time to chill before going back to it, I'm thinking. Yeah, there was much I could say to that. Just the comments themselves, I couldn't find an exact quote for the review. Um, yeah, it was kind of bad. And if you've never read the series, if you've read the series, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, I'm so sorry. You're gonna be so lost. Anyway, I'm also reading The Shining by Stephen King. And now, since it is October, I'm going to be more in the headspace to listen and read horror. So I'll get back to him, I promise. I've also was listening to up to episode 250 of the Knitmore Girls. And I have caught up with Wine and Crime, and it was nice to be able to listen to them the day that they come out and actually be drinking the same wine that they're drinking. So yay! Um, so what you watching, Silver? Kind of a lot this week. Let's start off with TV. So I was about 7 episodes behind the Dead Files. I pretty much binge watched those all last Monday because I wanted to, and yeah. I'm also now into the 10th season of Smallville, specifically on number 3. This is actually the season where all of the past co-stars are coming back, and the writers attempted to weave in any loose ends. I honestly don't remember much, and I never really do of this last season. But mostly, sorry, I remember the Red Queen reveal and Jonathan coming back in an episode with longer and I might admit more awesome hair. um, After this, I do have plans to start rewatching Supernatural as soon as I'm done. So I'm actually looking forward to binge watching another series, and that's something different. Especially rewatching this series since I haven't actually watched the last season of Supernatural at all. And the new season starts this week, I think. Or is it next week? I can't remember. Anyway, either way, it's a big oopsie on my part. All right, this week I got it through my head that I wanted to watch some movies. Pretty much all the movies I'm going to mention, I watched all in one day. On Monday, I was finding it really hard to stay awake and concentrate while I was sick. And by sick, I mean like I couldn't speak and yeah, brain head cold. Duh. The first movie was actually earlier in the weekend, and the rest were on Monday. So I watched Abduction, which is a movie with Taylor Lautner in it. That's the second time I've watched this movie. Yeah. Also, some of my favorites I watched Monday while I was sick. How to Train Your Dragon and Megamind, which my brother kind of worked on at DreamWorks. So yay. And then, yeah, shameless plug. Love you, boo. Anyway, I also watched Stargate and the Children of the Gods Stargate movie as well, because as you do, those are kind of comfort movies for me. Yeah. So also I watched some podcasts this week. All of my usual, and honestly, I had like a whole week's worth of podcasts to catch up on. I It took me all until Sunday night to catch up on the episodes from last week. Honestly, I don't know what I was doing that I was so backed up in my podcast rotation, but there it is. All right. I'm pretty social. You can find me on our Revelry board, which is Silver's Dreamland Podcast. I am SilverLuna2112 there on Revelry. On Facebook, Silver's Dreamland can be found at www.facebook.com/Silver's Dreamland. On Instagram, I am both Silver's Treats and Silver's Dreamland, mostly Silver's Treats if you've been following me for a while. On Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. I do tend to read through all messages as soon as I possibly can. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, please feel free to email me directly at silversdreamland@gmail.com. As always, anything that I talk about can be found directly in the show notes at www. Sorry, let's try that again. www.silversdreamlandpodcast.com. All right, so I have rambled for long enough. I know your time is valuable, so I do appreciate you sticking me out until the end, until the very end, especially with the head cold issue. Please feel free to join in any discussion, or you can even start your own on the Silver Streamland Revelry board. I don't bite, I promise. Please stay tuned for episode 34 on November 1st. Remember, don't let anyone rain on your crafting parade. Be the awesome you are. Until next time, happy crafting!